Go big or go home is an adage I've used many times to describe the SUV market, but sometimes bigger isn't always better. Hey, welcome to this edition of Road Warrior. I'm your host, Grant Robertson. Now, such the case is behind me, the 2017 GMC Acadia Denali, a retooling and specifically a resizing for this year. You can't simply cut off the back end of a vehicle, call it a day. You actually need to go into the design elements, and for 2017 they specifically did that with some maybe fine tuning. And what you notice from last year to this year's model really starts right at the haunches, the four corners, really specifically in this area here. 2016 a little bit heavier here, a little bit more chiseling that really seems to edge out each corner. Now a lot tighter, more refined, and really that mimic from last year really is just seen right through here. Nice and simple and not so broad. That gives this vehicle a little bit more sleek look and, well, less heavy at the four corners. What I also like is the midline. When you look down this way here, nice curvaceousness that you see in this edging line here. Now this is the Denali version, so one thing you're not going to expect is any heavy rubber cladding, but instead a lot of chrome, really around the windows, on the door handles, and even a nice accent down low. The Acadia didn't really do anything wrong in its previous sizing. The problem was it was creeping too close to the full-size SUV. So after scaling this vehicle down, they have squarely placed it back into the mid-size segment. Now looking at the overall numbers, what you're going to notice is the wheelbase has been reduced by about half a foot to 112 inches, while the overall length has been reduced by about 7 inches to a total of 193 inches overall. Now what's great is even with those crunching of numbers, they still can deliver quite good comfort in the 3 rows of the delivery, because after all, the terrain is the 2-row passenger vehicle. This one has to deliver that 3 rows in the family lineup. Now what you're also going to notice is the vehicle has been liposuctioned just a little bit, losing about 3.5 inches in its overall width. Looking at some other design features, really look at the 4 corners, specifically the standard 20-inch wheels. Now what I like is this is a two-tone look with a darker accent in the middle with some other brushed chrome around the outside. That versus all the bling you see up here, if we did it down low, well, it's just too much to me. Kind of reminds me of a Mr. T starter kit. Now as you swing around to the front, what I like on the Denali is, of course, that standard Denali-like grille, really with a huge amount of chrome right across the front. Now it couples nicely with the lower chrome down low with a lot of air intake right through the middle. Now any other place you're going to find is body color wrapping all the way around and just a little bit of chiseling here on the hood. Now if you look a little bit closer, you're going to find some safety features, specifically with a camera up front and radar-like sensors when it comes to parking. Also some nice stylized headlights that truly wrap around here to the side fenders. Safety and security is one feature I always talk about, and always talk about, well, the fill-up area. Now the vehicle is currently locked, but one place that's not is right here. Now unfortunately this hatch is always accessible, and there's, well, no level of security here, and that's really helps prevent anyone really siphoning off your gas or maybe vandalizing the gas area. Now what I do like is they have gone capless, pretty much meaning you don't have to do any manual operation, simply pop it open and fill it right up. Now what I do like is the ingress into this vehicle. Now while some make this, well, just different, I like the fact that Denali really provides an access button at each handle. What does that mean? On other vehicles you have to truly come around to the driver's door to unlock everything. This one, simply go to any door. Now if you go to the passenger door and you press it, it will unlock all of them. Of course the driver's door is going to be a 2-stage. You press it once to unlock here, press it again, unlocks everyone. Even though this vehicle has been scaled back just a little bit, it can be, well, somewhat of a beast to park, well, for the novice driver. So to make life easier, they've coupled the back end with nice camera and backup sensors. Now the backup sensors are truly ultrasonic with a radar-like indicator up front, really truly pinpointing the impact zone so you know exactly where something is in the way. Even better, there are cameras mounted on the side mirrors to give you that bird's eye view, so when you're parking you can actually see the lines of the parking space to know that you're in the right spot. Now as for the overall design back here, they continued the flow from the front to the back, specifically here with the rear taillights, again giving you just a little bit of wrap to the side. As you look at the back glass, what I like is the dark tint that you see on the side sweeps around in like a 180-like approach all the way around, even right down to the pillar, giving it a uniform look really from the side all the way around. Now what I also like is they brought the chrome. They didn't just leave it on the sides, they've also brought it back here. Now maybe too much, well, that's up to you. Where you're going to see some chrome, of course, is right across the middle, and a huge amount of chrome down near the bottom. A lot of bling, and, well, breathtaking. What I also like is, of course, is body color is everywhere else. No rubber cladding to note on this vehicle. Lastly is the operation. Of course, this is the Denali, so this is going to be a power hatch. Now, one thing I didn't notice is there are no leg swing opportunities. You can't swing this around hands-free approach. Instead, there is a button down here, or of course a release there on the key fob. Now, once this opens, you're going to see a decent amount of space. So the biggest change really comes down right here at the back end, and this is really noted by a family member who has a similar family lineup here, and they noticed compared to theirs, this was a lot smaller, and I kind of took them at face value. I was like, yeah, sure. But when I looked at the numbers, it truly is. Now, where it starts is here at the third row. What you're going to find back here now is around about 12 cubic feet, and that's pretty modest, basically around about a sedan trunk size. Now, that's compared to the previous version that's actually double that amount of space, and that can be compromising, but again, what they're doing is making this more mid-size, so if you want all that space, you got to step up to the big boys. Now, as you fold these down, which of course is made easy, what you're going to find is more than triple the amount of space, over 40 cubic feet. But again, that's about a third less than the previous version. And then as you go all the way to the front, that's again third less overall, really just under about 100 cubic feet overall, while the previous version was somewhere up around 120 cubic feet. Now, what I also like back here is once you lay it all flat, this is one huge seamless cargo area. Even better, there are these nice releases back here that help fold those second rows down with the pull of the handle. Now, climbing in the third row is made fairly easy. I've cheated just a little bit. I went ahead and moved this seat back, but it's made fairly easy. Simply pulling this handle here, the seat slides forward on some nice tracks, really allowing a lot of ingress here to the back end. Now, getting back here is not too bad, even for my 6-foot-plus frame. Now, what I'm going to do is squeeze over here on this side, really to give you a look-see of what it looks like to get back here. Now, what you're going to notice is it is fairly tight, and really first note is the fact that this rear bench is sitting pretty flat on the ground. That means my knees are fairly up in my chest. Basically, really tight legroom. Now, by the numbers on paper, it's around about 31 inches of space. The second and first row, tons to go around, about 39 inches here, 41 up front. So what does this mean back here? Well, this is not really a full-size offering, well, for full-size adults. Instead, maybe put the smaller kids back here, but it is here again in a pinch should you need to take, well, all those people with you. Now, staying back here just a little bit longer, what I like is the connectivity, and now we've gone a little bit more futuristic because everybody's just using USBs, no need for power supplies, and I like the fact that we have connectivity right here. Now, one thing to note is it has a battery symbol there, pretty much meaning it is the chargeability area, not necessarily the connectivity that you want with the phone, which is great because I want to be in charge of the entertainment, not necessarily the even nose bleeding section way back here. Now, as for other creature comforts, what you're going to find is a cup holder here as well on this side. And what I also like, since you do have the chargeability here, they do have a little tray where you can put your phone and basically go hands-free as it charges. Oh, one more thing while I'm back here I forgot to mention is the airflow from front to back can be, well, a cumbersome part of anything, especially cooling it down or heating it up. What I like, of course, on big SUVs is they do it quite well right up top with some nice vents. Now, these are nice and cylinder and directional, allowing you really to taper the airflow where you want it. Sometimes you don't want it, just close it off, but it allows the air to get back even here to the very back section real nice and quick, and even better, some nice reading lights, and heck, even your nice sunroof back here for the back portion of the vehicle. Climbing to the second row, first thing to talk about really is the abundant amount of legroom, around about 39 inches, and you can tell with my 6-foot-plus frame, that's plenty of space here for me and my knees. So what does that mean? I can actually move these seats forward for any third row occupants, giving a little bit more legroom. And the way you do that is the typical slider bar down here, pull it forward. Now, what that's going to do is creep those numbers really into the 33, 34 inches, and actually quite comfortable when you need that to be a little bit bigger. Now, what I like is, again, I have plenty of comfort, and of course, seat back designs are always giving those little niches to gain just a little bit extra space. Now, sliding this back, let's look at the design. Now, this isn't pretty much a straightforward bench. Instead, individualized attention here on the outer side. Even better, these are heated seats, unfortunately not cooled ones like we have up front as well. As for the center elbow space, nice support, dual cup holders, really there when you have just two people, because again, this is a 2+3+2 design. Now, other things we're going to talk about really is connectivity, and there's a lot of things going on here in the center console. First, you have the standard power outlet there. If you forget that old fancy car plug in your outlet, of course you have 2 USBs, and this is where you have control of the airflow back here. No longer do you have to rely on the driver. Nice vent fan speed, turn it up or turn it down, and of course you can dial in your specific temperature setting by the numeric reading right there. Really nice and comfortable. Anytime you talk about scaling down a vehicle, one place that will pretty much never be affected is right here in the captain's chairs, and that's truly what you find. Again, about 41 inches of leg room, plenty of comfort all the way around. Now up front, not going to be too sport seating, nice and voluptuous and nice padding all the way around and decent bolstering. Of course, you can add to some lumbar with these powered seats. Now what I again like up here, you do have the heated, but in these hot summer months, one thing I truly like is the cooled seats with, of course, 3 levels. Now one thing you'll notice, don't get concerned, you will hear a little bit of airflow going on in the car even if there's no backseat drivers. Reason for that is it's pulling air from the back of the seat to help cool this vehicle, so you're going to hear a lot of that noise, especially on the higher levels. Front center on the dash, going to be a nice huge touchscreen system, really houses everything, and nice and simple is the home screen, really with some nice apps allow you to navigate with ease. Now we use the navigation quite religiously on our long road trip, really allowed us to put all the information in and display it quite well. And of course you have weather when you're in different time zones or different areas, you really can look at the local weather to figure out what it is. Now the biggest place you're going to use is the radio entertainment, and of course you have some nice presets down here, really allows you to navigate with ease. Now as for the controls, pretty much nice symmetric knobs for volume and tune select and some basic other functions right here. This vehicle is a tri-zone system, the system for the back and dual zones up front. And I like the fact we have nice symmetric knobs, really allowing the driver and passenger to tune in their specific temperature setting, as well as quick shortcuts for the various modes, simple knob for fan speed. You will find wood accents here on the Denali on the dash, on the door, and quite a bit of it between the front occupants, really centered around the gear shifter and the cup holders. Maybe something I'd rather replace with a brushed metallic like accents. Now what you will also find is dual cup holders right here. Nice spongy material, really grips your beverages with ease. Now depending on which all-wheel drive or front-wheel drive version you get, this one being all-wheel drive does have the selector modes here, your parking sensors and your lane assist as well. The gauge cluster is a little bit of new and old with an analog tach, but a digital speedometer and a nice digital readout specifically for the speed number, something I really am a big fan of. Now that screen can be interchanged with a lot of other information, simply change over to different functions as you're going down the road. Now other features you're going to find is right here on the steering wheel, nice cruise control, and this is the adaptive type setting, pretty much meaning you can set the cruise and it knows the vehicles that are in front of you and keeps pace with traffic. On the other side is the controls again for that digital readout I mentioned just a second ago. Now the Acadia has lost some weight, around about 700 pounds, and of course that's by trimming here and there and, well, lighten the overall load. But, well, they didn't skimp here on the engine, still delivering a decent power plant. Now what you're going to find here is a 3.6 liter V6 engine. Is going to deliver around about 310 horses and 271 foot-pounds of torque, and, well, plenty get up and go. Now it does come in the front-wheel drive or the all-wheel drive version. Now the engine is coupled to a 6-speed automatic transmission. That does for this edition of Road Warrior, and a test ride behind the wheel of the 2017 GMC Acadia Denali, a vehicle that has been, well, reshaped, retooled, scaled down, and even the load has been lightened. And what I like is it, well, still delivers everything you expect with the 3 rows of room, of course, all the Denali extras, and, well, just the fact that it's still a decent mid-size SUV, even with all the rescaling, because again, well, it may have been, well, just too big in its previous version. Now, as always, thank you for watching this edition of Road Warrior. Keep both hands on the wheel and eyes straight ahead.